Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show on the radio since 1977. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to cover. In just a few minutes, I'm going to go through the beginning of the latest on the coup led by former President Obama. We're going to go through the timeline. We've got so much to cover and your calls. The media yesterday really started to play catch up on the coup that Obama illegally led against President Trump in his first term. And we're going to cover all that and a whole bunch more. You know, I was just looking online. I was doing a little research. And, you know, yesterday, and I've gotten several calls about this from liberal lunatics, they're telling us that they're upset at the conditions of Alligator Alcatraz. And I was talking to a caller yesterday, and I said, you know, they have central air at Alligator Alcatraz. And did you know, and Alligator Alcatraz is a state-run detention center. Did you know that 75% of Florida state jails, prisons, detention centers do not have air conditioning of any kind? You heard that right. So the detainees at Alligator Alcatraz have something that 75% of Florida prisoners do not have, and that's air conditioning. And they got these big old brand new central air conditioning units. All right, so let's get to this. This coup that Obama organized is, we're starting to get more and more details, because since the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, handed all these documents over, people are looking at the documents that have been publicly released, and a lot of things that were classified are no longer classified. So people in the know are starting to share what they know. And it's absolutely amazing. And what had happened is President Trump had won. He was and this is all according to the documents, and I'm going to go through the timeline in just a moment. President Trump had won. He was the president-elect of the United States. In January, he was going to be sworn in as the 45th president of the United States of America. Pretty big deal. Well, shortly after Trump's victory, Barack Obama was having a fit, as was the deep state and many in the government. All of the intelligence analysis from every single intel agency of the United States government said there was no Russian interference. In fact, they also went so far as to say Russia did not even have the capability to interfere. That was every intelligence assessment. Barack Obama calls a meeting in the Oval Office. All of this is documented. And he brings in the leaders of our top intelligence agencies, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, and some others. And what they did is they wrote a fake intelligence briefing. They wrote a fake intelligence briefing. Every intelligence analysis said no Russian interference. They didn't have the capability to do it. It didn't happen. And they got together, and former President Obama gave a directive, an illegal directive, to create a counterfeit, false intelligence report saying that Russia did. Then they leaked it to the media and began doing interviews and started a false narrative that led to impeachments and the Mueller investigation and everything else. This is well documented. I've got a lot of audio sound bites I'm going to play for you today. Here early on about this. But there's one that I'm going to play every hour today. Ohio's own Jim Jordan. I love Jim Jordan. We've got good people from Ohio. Being from Ohio originally myself. And Jim Jordan was on Hannity last night. Did any of you see this? I want to play a clip from it. And I think I'm going to play this every hour on the show today. And Jim Jordan goes through a quick timeline of what happened. They're in big trouble. Let me cue it up here. This is Jim Jordan on Hannity last night, and this is the timeline.
And it all started back in 2016, and it wasn't just to keep him from winning the election in 2016, it was to undermine his presidency after he had already won. I want you to think of 3 dates in the interim between Election Day and Inauguration Day back in 2016, 2017. December 9th, Obama calls a meeting in the White House. All the intelligence community is there, plus the Justice Department. You got Lynch, you got Comey, you got Clapper, you got Brennan. They're all there. Obama says, we're not going to go with the intelligence community assessment. We're going to put that on hold, and they put together a new one. 3.5 weeks later, January 3rd, Chuck Schumer's on one of the Sunday shows, and he says, if you mess with the intelligence community, talking to President-elect Donald Trump, if you mess with the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. 3 days later, Sean, 3 days later, January 6th at Trump Tower, the intelligence community, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, go up there to give President Trump what he believes is the defensive briefing all incoming presidents get. So he's expecting just the normal briefing. Instead, it's a setup. They go up there and brief him, and then they tell him about the dossier that they already know is false. And then it gets leaked to the press, and thereby giving it credibility when the press reports that Jim Comey, FBI director, briefed Donald Trump on the Russian dossier. It was all garbage.
Okay, I made a note. I made a note of that timeline. In fact, I might get a notebook and start keeping track of all of this because we're getting a lot. But I wanted to get this timeline, and I want to thank the great and awesome Jim Jordan. So here's the timeline. And by the way, if you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. And I'm going to play that clip once an hour at least today, 888-465-2631. So on December 9th, Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States. Barack Obama has the meeting where they say, okay, we are going to create a counterfeit. We are going to craft a fake and phony intelligence briefing that's contrary to what all of your agencies have said. Russia did interfere. That was on the 9th. Then they started organizing and telling their friends about it. Then, just over a month later, January 3rd, Schumer is when he, because President Trump was talking about what they did, the spying on Trump Tower and all of that. That's when Schumer came out on television live and said, if you go against the intelligence community, they've got 6 ways from Sunday to get at you. And then 3 days after that, January 6th, oh boy, yeah, a lot happens on January 6th. Right? That's when, and I didn't realize it was all 3 of them, Comey, the director of the FBI, Brennan, the director of the CIA, and Clapper, who is the, of course, director of national intelligence, goes to Trump Tower to give President Trump the presidential daily intelligence briefing because he's the president-elect. He will be the 45th president of the United States, and he needs to know what's going on. And they go there to brief him. They give him a phony briefing, and then they throw the fake Russian dossier on his desk and try to blackmail him. And Comey tells him, we can either investigate this, wink, wink, or it can go away, meaning if you play ball, it'll disappear. We'll just put it back in the Hoover files to blackmail you when you step out of line. And he said, get out of here. And then they left the office and leaked all of this information that they had crafted, including the fake Russian dossier that Hillary paid for, to the media and began this dialogue. This is a coup. It's an illegal coup. Not only is it a coup, and an illegal coup, not that there's such a thing as a legal coup, among our own government, they're in big trouble now. You know, the Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, said yesterday he wants to, and I want to play the audio of this, he wants Obama to testify in a congressional committee about this. Don't let them tell you that there is presidential immunity. That's not the case. They arrested Trump, was it 3 times? The Mar-a-Lago case, Bragg, and Fulton County. I didn't hear anything about presidential immunity during those phony arrests on trumped-up charges. So, just because you were president doesn't mean you can go out and do crime. That's why they arrested President Trump on fake crimes that he didn't commit. This is real, it is happening, and we're living through it. And it would not have happened if Trump's terms were consecutive. Having the non-consecutive terms is making it all possible. Now, I want to tell you guys about the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Holy smokes. The 30% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper comes in every mattress size, from the smallest twins to singles and queens and kings and split kings and California kings, and every size in between, including the RV sizes and the sizes that the truckers have in their sleeping compartment in their semi-trucks. I've been sleeping, my wife and I, on our 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for years. It turns your entire bed into a MyPillow. It will change your life. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. The cover is machine washable and dryable, and the cover is made of that same material with the cooling temperature regulating technology as the MyPillow 2.0. During these hot summer months, man, it's hot. It keeps you cool and comfortable all night long. And in the winter months, warm and toasty. If you have an old mattress and think you need a new one, get yourself the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. And remember, you can use our promo code on all the specials at MyPillow.com, but this is an incredible deal. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break and come back with more. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yeah. This is great, man. This is freaking awesome. This is so awesome, guys. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back shortly. Absolutely. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, yeah. This is a great time, guys. This is a great time. Now, if you'd like to join us on our next MAGA cruise, which is in March on the Celebrity Beyond, we're going to Antigua, the Virgin Islands, and Nassau in the Bahamas. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779. We're going to have a great time. You can see in the video what a great time we have. You are all invited. 561-244-5779. We have great shore excursions. We spend the whole week together, dinner together every night. And, yeah, I know, it's a great time. One of our shore excursions, we have rented a luxury boat charter just for our group. We're going to go on a snorkeling trip in Antigua and have a lobster lunch. So it's a great time. 561-244-5779. You will love it. Our cruises are fun. They're awesome. And we always have a good time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's our 10th anniversary cruise. Can you believe it? Time flies. Time flies. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. The media caught up on the Obama coup yesterday. We now have a timeline, courtesy of the great Jim Jordan, and things are happening. All right, let's take a call or two, and then we'll get to more, because there's a lot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore, and I'm just so excited to wake up and to hear you just touting everything I believe is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since yesterday, I've heard some of the, very surprisingly, heard from some other talking heads how nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to him. You know, don't get your hopes up. Obama, nothing's going to happen to him. I don't believe that. At this point, Brian, the evidence is so overwhelming that something has to happen.
It's not that something will happen, okay, because we're a little beyond that, Barbara. It is happening. It is happening as we speak.
Yes, but I mean him being arrested. I wanted, they're raising all this hoopla about that AI-generated arrest of Obama. I love it. I kept playing it over just to see him behind bars, because there's a real possibility. He may not stay there, but they're going to be humiliated. All of them are going to be outed. They're going to be humiliated. They're going to be made a part of history. Their lives are going to be exposed, and there will be consequences. I don't think Donald Trump has come this far to let them get away with what they've done to him and his family. The way they treated, look at Peter Navarro being arrested. And I like public arrests. They don't have to go in with SWAT teams like they did at Mar-a-Lago. But I think I'd like to see a few people picked up at the airport like what they did with Peter Navarro.
Yeah.
Look at what they did to My Pillow. Look what they did to Mike Flynn. Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah,
lock them up.
Yeah, if you remember with Roger Stone, they burst into his house at 6 in the morning with CNN. With Peter Navarro, they busted into his house and put him in ankles. They put him in John Hinckley's cell. With Mike Lindell, they boxed him in at a drive-thru at a fast food restaurant in his neighborhood in Minnesota. I mean, these were tyrants. And these were people that were being arrested that had done no crime. Hey, Barbara, it's good to hear from you, and it's happening. We're very excited. All right, you too. Yeah, this is awesome stuff. All right, let's take another call, and then I have so much to cover about this. There have been so many developments in the last just few hours. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. All right, now if you're on hold, hang in there. So Victor Davis Hanson was on with Laura Lee Ingraham last night, and everybody loves Victor Davis Hanson, don't they? He's awesome. Victor Davis Hanson is probably one of the most brilliant conservative thinkers in America today. I think he is. You guys agree with that? Absolutely. Here's Victor Davis Hanson with Ingram last night.
This was filled with corrupt intentions, and these findings were probably skewed. Victor, this really isn't surprising to us, but tell me your reaction to what we've now learned, given what Tulsi Gabbard has declassified and these two different criminal referrals, one from the CIA director and one from the director of the DNI.
See, now, what Laura is talking about here is absolutely very, very key and important. All this information that has come out, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has declassified. She's declassified all this stuff. So this meeting that Obama had where they created the counterfeit intelligence report, we didn't know about that. All right, now here's Victor Davis Hanson, brilliant man, responding to Laura Ingram.
Well, I think it's pretty clear they're going to have written evidence and probably testimonials from these so-called great intelligence authorities at the level below Clapper and Brennan. And that's going to be damning. And the only mystery, Laura, is whether Barack Obama will say that Clapper and Brennan overread the assessment and misled him, or whether Clapper and Brennan say that Obama misled them. But otherwise...
Okay, now this is interesting because Victor Davis Hanson is brilliant. And he thinks that that Clapper, Brennan, Comey, and Obama, they're going to turn on each other.
Otherwise, everything is pretty clear. The other problem is none of these people have any credibility. James Comey pled ignorance, amnesia 245 times under oath to this House Intelligence Committee. He leaked a confidential conversation with Donald Trump that he memorialized to the New York Times via a third party. Clapper, remember, he lied under oath to Congress, and he said that the NSA did not spy on people. Then when he was caught, he said it was the least untruthful answer he could give. Brennan lied twice. He said that the NSA didn't spy on people, lie. He said that the CIA didn't tap in to Senate staffer computers. That was a lie. Both of them were co-architects, let's not forget, of the 51 intelligence authorities. So you could really say, as a historian, a historical period, they affected the outcome, one way or the other, of the 2016 election and maybe the 2020, because they leaked that false narrative of Donald Trump colluding with the Russians to manufacture Hunter's laptop right before the second debate and to arm Joe Biden to go in there and lie to the American people that his son's laptop was a product of Russian and Trump collusion. So they've got a long record of no credibility, and I don't think they're going to be convincing in any excuse or apology they give.
Okay, yeah, so Victor Davis Hanson, what he's saying is, hey, they were spreading this false narrative about Russia, and people were calling him a Russian asset for Putin during his whole first term, even the last 4 years, right? That's why, this Epstein thing, which, by the way, we're not going to be debating Epstein, people. We're not going to be debating. Sorry, guys. I know the liberal talking point is anytime this comes up, mention Epstein and it's not going to happen. You mention Epstein, you're gone, just to let you know in advance. But if you notice, this Epstein story obviously was dropped a couple weeks ago by the people that brought us the fake Russiagate. They knew this was coming, and they put this out there as a distraction to try to get a distractive talking point dialogue going on that, so that there wasn't focus on this coup that has been exposed. And if you notice, it's the same technique that they did with the Russiagate. Now, I want to talk to you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. He's rid me of pain 7 times. The first time was 3 years ago. And, none of the pains, including the first pain he relieved me of, which was my massive knee pain that I suffered from since I was like 20, 21 years old. So like 30 years of suffering, he rid me of that pain. None of the pains, including the first time he treated me for my knee 3 years ago, none of the pain has returned. Dr. Appleton's laser wave pain treatment, what it does, it repairs the damage that is causing you the pain. That's why when he rids you of pain, it doesn't come back, because it's repairing the damage. It is 100% painless. There's no shots, no injections, no surgery, no downtime. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. And if you've been in a car accident, whether you were driving, a passenger, or in an Uber or a Lyft, the laser treatment works on those pains that you're suffering from, your neck pain and all those pains that you're suffering from after a car accident too. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. All right. Things are going so well, guys, aren't they? Absolutely.
Hunter.
Absolutely. Could not be going better. Could not be going better. Oh, man. Are you guys as excited as I am? How could you not be excited over this? This is one of the most exciting times. I mean, you know, President Trump is a squeaky clean Marine. And what they've done to him, a guy who spent his entire life abiding by the law, being a straight shooter, and then they do all these things to him. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, whether you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, you're welcome to do that. The number is pinned in the live chat. Oh, yeah. This is a great time, people. This is a great time. Now, if you're a Medicare recipient, if you're 65 years of age or older, if you're turning 65 soon, call this number on the screen, 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033. That's Chapter. They're going to give you free Medicare help. Any questions you have about Medicare, they'll answer them. No matter which one of the 50 United States you are in, they can help you. Not only that, they'll answer your questions. You're going to get a live person who will be there to answer your questions. They're going to make sure that you're not paying too much. You know, you could save thousands of dollars a year just by calling this number for this free help from Chapter. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Again, no matter what state you're in, they can help. And it's free help. You'll get a live person on the line when you call to help you. And the number is in the description of the video as well. 805-754-3033. All right? And I do appreciate that, and they are a great, great help. You'll find that as soon as you call. Okay, we'll be back in about 1 minute. And, yeah. Let's see here. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 19 77, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Okay, so this Obama coup, we're starting to get everything now. Today, we've put together the beginnings of the timeline, courtesy of the great Jim Jordan, and I am going to get a notebook and start keeping track of this. I might even get a spiral. I got a Trapper Keeper. I might have to get another Trapper Keeper just for the Obama coup file. I've never done that with any issue before, but this is historic. And it's not what will happen, it is happening. So Tulsi Gabbard has declassified all this information and sent it to Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. Here's Jim Jordan last night on Hannity giving us our first timeline of the Obama coup.
And it all started back in 2016, and it wasn't just to keep him from winning the election in 2016, it was to undermine his presidency after he had already won. I want you to think of 3 dates in the interim between Election Day and Inauguration Day back in 2016, 2017. December 9th, Obama calls a meeting in the White House. All the intelligence community is there, plus the Justice Department. You got Lynch, you got Comey, you got Clapper, you got Brennan. They're all there. Obama says, we're not going to go with the intelligence community assessment. We're going to put that on hold, and they put together a new one. 3.5 weeks later, January 3rd, Chuck Schumer's on one of the Sunday shows, and he says, if you mess with the intelligence community, talking to President-elect Donald Trump, if you mess with the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you. 3 days later, Sean, 3 days later, January 6th at Trump Tower, the intelligence community, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, go up there to give President Trump what he believes is the defensive briefing all incoming presidents get. So he's expecting just a normal briefing. Instead, it's a setup. They go up there and brief him, and then they tell him about the dossier that they already know is false. And then it gets leaked to the press, and thereby giving it credibility when the press reports that Jim Comey, FBI director, briefed Donald Trump on the Russian dossier. It was all garbage.
Okay, wow, this is just amazing. So to recap, see, this is the biggest takeaway that's happened so far. So Tulsi Gabbard has declassified all this information. So people are going through it now. And that's how Jim Jordan was able to put together this very first timeline on the criminal conspiracy. And this timeline will become more detailed as time goes on. So what happened here is Trump is the president-elect of the United States. Obama's in a panic. You know, and I was asking yesterday on the show, what do you think drove Obama to do this? And this is what I think it is. I think Obama, who's incredibly petty, was fuming with Donald Trump over the birth certificate. Now, if you remember, Donald Trump got Obama to produce that document that he said was a photocopy of his birth certificate. People have been we're talking about that birth certificate for years. He ignored it. Donald Trump got him to produce it. And it looks like he never got over it. Obama's not the kind of guy that's ever been accountable. You know, when he was a college professor, only taught one class a year. This guy's coasted through life without ever being held accountable until Donald Trump got him to produce the birth certificate or the photocopy of an image that he said was of his birth certificate. And as tiny as that may seem, you're talking about a pathetically insecure megalomaniac narcissist when you're talking about Obama. So Donald Trump, this is not, the election is over. Donald Trump is the president-elect of the United States. A panic happens, the pettiness of Obama, but the other ones are in a panic because they're going to be losing power and control. Hillary, they thought it was going to be Hillary. Or one of those Republicans that Trump out-debated that they could control, or was one of them. So they get together. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, every intelligence agency, every analysis, every investigation said there was no Russian interference. They didn't even have the capability to do it. So they get together, and he's got the heads of his agencies, Clapper, Comey, Brennan, and they created a fake, totally fake counterfeit intelligence briefing saying there was Russian interference, even though every one of their agencies said there wasn't. They crafted a completely false narrative. Then they leaked it to the media and started doing television appearances. Obama even had a White House press conference over this to get the narrative going, to undermine him. And then they went to him with the fake Russian dossier to try to blackmail him. It was a shakedown. They couldn't get control of him with that. So then they leaked the fake dossier to the media. And the media, of course, a willing participant. And this led to everything, including Vindman getting Trump impeached over that phone call with Zelensky, the Mueller investigation, everything in between, all came from that meeting. This is a textbook example of a coup led by a former president illegally after he left office. It was still going on. Remember, yesterday I was talking about how they had found bugs, listening devices inside the West Wing, that they had to clear it. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. We will get to some more calls, but there's a lot I want to cover. Now, Victor Davis Hanson was on Laura Ingraham, which was awesome. I want to play this clip. This is one of my two favorite people in the Trump administration, Stephen Miller. Who does not love Stephen Miller? This guy is awesome. He's so good. And he's talking about that bizarre Hunter interview, but I want to share this before I forget. And did you guys see that Hunter interview? Holy smokes. Listen.
Hunter Biden's father, his administration, presided over the greatest invasion on American soil in American history. The mass theft and pillaging of American jobs, wealth, and security. And you're seeing the results of that with that video footage that we've all watched now of two illegal aliens with serial criminal records that Joe Biden, that the Democrats, the Democrat Party, purposely let into the country, set free, had custody of, and released. And then they ambushed this brave CBP officer who, despite the injuries he sustained, fought off his attackers. And, of course, one of those attackers, you can now see the footage, was dumped by his accomplice in an emergency room after sustaining 3 gunshot wounds. But this is happening all over this country. Joe Biden and the Democrat Party allowed millions of military-age men with criminal records and criminal intentions and criminal ambitions into the country to prey on us, to prey on our cities, to prey on our communities. Then on top of that, millions more are stealing our benefits, stealing health care, stealing spots in our public schools, and stealing the wages and the incomes of working Americans. Right. It is a travesty across the board. Under President Trump's leadership, though, record numbers are being picked up, deported, arrested, jailed, and sent out.
Okay. So President Trump's first term, he's sandwiched between two treasonous people, Obama and Biden. And you've seen this god-awful footage of the Obama-Biden Kamala dreamers and what they did to that poor Border Patrol agent. And then they left him there. Wouldn't have happened if Donald Trump was in office, because they wouldn't have been set free. So we've got Obama, who, by the way, is the only president in our lifetime to stay living in Washington, D.C. after they left office. Woodrow Wilson did, but he had had a stroke his last year in office, and health-wise, he'd stayed at a house in D.C. But Obama stayed in D.C. after he left the White House, on a street that has a mosque on it, by the way. I remember that when he bought the house, there was a lot of talk about that. I don't know, what coincidence? I don't know. We'll see. But why was he in Washington? Because he was leading his coup. And then while the coup is going on with the fake Russiagate, we have Invasion USA taking place with Biden in the Otto Penn administration, where Americans are being shot and killed and raped and victimized. I mean, my goodness. What we've gone through the 4 years before 45 and the 4 years after 45, it's amazing that the country is still here with these kind of outlaws running it. But we are. Now, I want to tell you guys that if you would like to join our 10th annual MAGA cruise, you are all invited. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. We're going to Antigua, Nassau in the Bahamas, and the Virgin Islands. I can't remember if we're going to the British or the U.S. Virgin Islands, but we're going to the Virgin Islands. We're having a great time. This is our 10th annual MAGA cruise. You are all invited. We got incredible prices on this cruise. If you're in our group, you're going to be paying less than everybody else on board the ship. And this is our 10th anniversary cruise. I am so excited about it. We always have a great time. We have dinner together every night. We have a whole bunch of onboard activities planned. Those of you that have been before, Ian and I are planning all kinds of things that we'll tell you about later. When we're at sea, on board together, we have a great time. We have shore excursions that are just out of this world each and every time. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. If you get his voicemail, leave a message. He will call you back, all right? 561-244-5779. And I look forward to seeing you all there on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise with me, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane. All right, we're going to take our last break of the first hour. Call us on hold. You stand by. We'll be right back. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's in March. It'll be our 10th year of our MAGA cruises. That's right. Mm-hmm. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, guys. You know, we have a great time on these cruises. Just over a minute, we'll be back. And I'll take some calls when we get back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, I'm going to take some calls. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kim in Augusta.
All right, Kim. What's up?
Well, I was just going to let you know those playbacks that you're doing, we can't hear
If you watch on my other live stream, you can hear them all. I've got 2 live streams going on online. If you watch the other one, you can see and hear everything. All right? All right.
Okay,
You'll figure it out. Take care. It's on my YouTube channel. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's your best friend, Brian. It's Jerome from California. How you doing?
Okay. What's up, Jerome?
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. I mean, listen, this free country of ours is going to be a whole bunch freer when these coup conspirators are arrested. So it's a good day.
What coup conspirators? You talking about your Obama derangement syndrome?
Well, I know you've got what you think is a slogan.
You got your Obama derangement syndrome, right?
When Obama gets together with the leaders of the National Intelligence Agency and they create Do you want to? I mean, you called me. Why are you being so rude? You're calling me. Did I call you? I mean, what is this about?
And you don't want me to talk about the Epstein files. You told me that.
No, this is not about Epstein. No, we're not. No, we're not talking about Epstein.
Yeah, that's what you
no,
said.
we're not talking about
I'm
Epstein.
talking about your Obama derangement syndrome.
Why don't you get your own catchphrases? It's not Obama derangement syndrome. We have new information. All right, appreciate the call. You see, they can't handle it. If they can't talk about Epstein, where are they going to go? See, they crafted this whole Epstein story a couple weeks ago and got it out there so they could get a distraction going. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. See, the liberals, have you noticed, this is day 2 of the week. The liberals aren't doing very well, are they? They're not doing well at all. In fact, they're in really a panic mode. They don't have talking points. The only thing they've been told is when someone brings up the Obama coup, just start talking about Epstein for some reason. Oh, and by the way, let me pull something up. I am going to play, this is not an okay for you guys to call about Epstein because it is a topic that is not welcome on the program by you guys, but I'm going to pull something up. I played on my podcast last night that involves Epstein and clears Trump from a liberal. Let me find this. I was going to play this later in the show. I'm going to play this for you guys now. There was remember that guy in Trump's first term? It was he wrote that really nasty book about President Trump. I cannot remember the title of the book, but it was written by a Trump-hating author, Michael Wolff. Wollfe, big Trump hater. Listen to this. He gave an interview this week, and he's talking about Trump and Epstein. This is something you've not heard before. Listen.
Epstein believed that Donald Trump went to the Palm Beach police and said, Jeffrey Epstein has young girls at his house, thereby beginning the legal process, which would ultimately bring Jeffrey Epstein down.
Wow. So that's a Trump hater, Michael Wolff, who says that Epstein blamed Trump for everything that happened to him, being brought to justice, that President Trump turned him in to the local police after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and found out what he was doing. Oh, boy. That is not an okay for you to start arguing the Epstein case because that's not going to be tolerated. But isn't that something? Yeah, absolutely. And that guy hates Trump, and he's clearing him. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Daniel. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey.
Here we go.
I noticed you were wearing your hat. It says Trump 2028.
Correct.
So do you think that Trump should serve a third term?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd like to get a hat that says Trump 2032. Or maybe just Trump for life. Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't think that we should follow the Constitution?
Well, I think we should amend the Constitution and end the presidential term limits for him.
But don't you think there's like a good reason to have term limits?
No, we didn't have them until the 1950s. There were no term limits until the 1950s. Franklin Roosevelt was elected 4 times. And I've never heard anyone say he didn't do a good job on the left. He's like one of the most prominent liberal icons, FDR. No.
All right, that's all I had. Yeah, I just wanted to get your.
The Constitution has been amended 27 times. Why can't we amend it again? And it's been amended for some pretty good things, like giving women the vote, freeing the slaves from the Democrat slave masters. Amending the Constitution's happened 27 times. Prohibition, then the repeal of prohibition.
That's true.
Ah, all right. All right. Appreciate the call. All right. There you go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Tyler from California.
Okay.
How's it going, Brian?
It's going great.
It's going great. Hey, I have
Here
a
we
question. So why do you mention the fact that Obama lives in D.C. still? I'm just kind of curious about that.
When Obama was leaving office, while he was still president, he bought a house in D.C. Presidents don't do that. They go back to where they're from, right? The Clintons, they bought a house in Chappaqua because they didn't own a house and moved to New York where Hillary was a senator. Jimmy Carter went back to Georgia. The Reagans went back to California. The Nixons and went to California. The Bushes went back to Texas, and he stayed living in Washington so he could have his own government going on the side, organizing and running this coup against Trump. No other president has done that except Woodrow Wilson, and he had a massive stroke and was an invalid. So it's an unusual thing.
That's a grasp right there, Brian. You're like grasping at straws a little bit, man.
No.
There's no rule against having a house in D.C., right? Like, you're kind of saying this like it's a law or something. You're saying
no, I'm saying it's usually
you are, though. That's what you're doing, Brian.
No.
I need you to acknowledge that.
No.
You need to acknowledge reality, Brian.
No, I don't need to acknowledge anything that you want me to acknowledge.
Yes, you do. You need to acknowledge reality.
You
Brian.
put that with Tulsi Gabbard's declassified coup documents, and it makes perfect sense.
Let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard. So let's talk about Tulsi. Okay, so she said there were no nukes in Iraq. So why did Trump bomb it?
Well, first of all,
we're taking Tulsi at her word, right?
We're not taking Tulsi at her word. She has documents.
You just did. You just said she exposed the coup.
Hey, listen.
Brian, you're already falling apart in 3 seconds.
No, I'm not falling apart. You can tell yourself that. You can tell yourself that. This is not.
You're so fucking pathetic.
There we go. First dump of the day. I would like to have kept him on, but, he used one of those words. First dump of the day, and it's not even 7 a.m. With this Obama coup, you've got to understand something. We are not taking Tulsi Gabbard's word for this. She has documents from the Obama administration that she handed over. So these are things that are not her word, not her opinion. These are documents. Many of them are memos. And they also have whistleblower testimony from inside the Obama administration. It's been reported since yesterday. So this has nothing to do with Tulsi Gabbard's word. This is hard evidence. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. We got to wait for the delay to re-engage. But I want to ask you, are you or someone you know suffering from neuropathy? If you are, you want to call Lighthouse Medical. Steve had neuropathy so bad, he was bedridden, homebound. And we found Lighthouse Medical because we had a cruise coming up and a personal appearance here locally. And Steve's like, I can't get out of bed. I don't know how I'm going to do this. We found Lighthouse Medical. They treated him. They rid him of his neuropathy symptoms. And that was 3 years ago. And his symptoms have not returned. Give Lighthouse Medical a call. And by the way, no matter where you're located in Florida or the United States, they can help you. You don't have to be local. They can help you through telemedicine. Give them a call and do what Steve did. Get rid of all those neuropathy symptoms. Get your life back. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. The liberal lunatics are losing their minds. No doubt about that. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We'll take our top-of-the-hour break and be back with your calls and more after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. Mm-hmm. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. If you're just joining, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You can tell the Democrat callers have lost their freaking minds, haven't they? They've just lost their minds. Every single one of them. Cue this part up.
And we still don't know what happened on July 13th.
And we certainly don't at Butler. That's exactly right. Why don't we know that? Do you know?
I don't know. And I know that we have the right, we could not have better people in those positions.
At the top.
Like, you know Dan Bongino well. I could speak very high for his integrity.
Oh, I love Dan. Yeah.
And so they need to act on this.
Yep.
And I don't have much more to say than that, but I don't
know actually, but I know that they're stonewalling on that. And I think it's very weird. They still can't get into Crooks's devices.
The whole thing is so bizarre.
Really? Because they can read my text messages, I notice.
they can read your signal messages.
And they have.
Which is even worse than text messages.
I haven't even shot anybody.
So bizarre. I like spending time with my wife and my kids. I want one day to find out what happened on July 13th.
Charlie Kirky's talking about Butler. All right, here we go. We are back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Callers on hold, stand by. Before I go back to the phones, I want to share something with you. Charlie Kirk sat down with Tucker on his show yesterday, and they're talking about Butler. I'm going to share something with you. Listen.
So I want one day to find out what happened on July 13th, because by only the grace of God and by a millimeter is Trump alive and is Trump president.
If you can murder presidential candidates, it's not a democracy, obviously. So
and get away with it.
And get away with it, right? But they just can't get into his devices. I mean, he had no social media profile.
How did he get on the roof, and how was it unguarded? And and then it was 2 days before the Republican National Convention. It felt, again, if you were to kind of go in a dark place, which again, this is all speculation, it felt like, well, this is our last chance before he's the nominee.
Yep.
Because you know what happens once you're the nominee? You get Secret Service protection.
Yep.
And this is an unknown element of this. Literally, as soon as you get to become the nomination, by bylaws of Secret Service, whatever, you get equal presidential protection. So he had a bunch of like DHS hangovers. You know, no offense to the people that were protecting him on the day of Butler, some of which did a great job, some of which are not people I would necessarily, you know, go to war with.
Okay, so this is an interesting thing that Charlie Kirk talked about here with Butler. If you're on hold, we'll get back to the phones in a minute. We're talking about the Obama coup. But yeah, so right after the convention, he would have presidential level security again, and they did this before. So the timing was not an accident. And I'll tell you another thing. Because we hadn't had our convention yet, JD wasn't wasn't nominated with the president, and what their plan was to nominate Nikki Haley and then Ron DeSantis as her running mate. That was their plan. And Charlie Kirk, he said something very important there about the timing of that event. All right, back to the phones, and I will review in a few more minutes after we take some calls. We now have the first rough timeline on the Obama coup, courtesy of the great Jim Jordan from Ohio. He was on Hannity last night. We'll recap that. But first, let's take some of these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Mississippi. It's good to be on the show.
Uh-huh.
I just had it's a good live stream this morning. I love the hat. I think it would be better if you had Make Tito's Great Again.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I'm sure you would probably feel good with that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Craig, Winter Garden.
Hey, Winter Garden. See, didn't I tell you their answer is? See, this is the psyop that the deep state's running. When they mention the Obama coup, mention Jeffrey Epstein. That'll get them off of it. I predicted this at the beginning of yesterday's show, if you remember, and here we are. All right, I guess the talking point has been emailed out. All right, you're on the air, Winter Garden. What's on your mind?
Hey, a question for you. Maybe you can answer it. The whole thing with President Trump from the very beginning was a Russia collusion. Is that right?
Well, that's what Obama and his team made up.
Correct. Oh, answer me this. Why, back in 2016, you got Trump running and you got Clinton running, right? And they said, the whole thing with the left is that Russia colluded with Trump to try to get him in there. Why would Russia want Trump over Clinton? You got somebody with Trump who's pro-America, pro-strong military against somebody who would sell us out for the highest bidder. Why would Russia
Well,
even
this is,
want
okay,
that?
because Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, which is the Democrat Party's Bible, says, and Barack Obama's Bible, accuse your opponent of doing what you're doing. It's right there in the beginning. And if you noticed, Letitia James is the one who brought charges against President Trump on mortgage fraud. Remember that? About the value of Mar-a-Lago? And then we find out, what has she been doing? All kinds of mortgage fraud, right? So, Hillary Clinton, now the Russia, why Russia? Hillary had already colluded with Russia. If you remember, she made a deal when she was Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton signed off on that uranium deal that gave 20% of the U.S. uranium deposit control to Russia. So Russia has missiles that are armed with nuclear weapons with U.S. uranium in them pointed at American cities. So they accused Trump of doing what they were doing, colluding with Russia.
Well, Yeah, but that's I mean, again, that's my point. To me, as evil, corrupt, and crooked as the left is, they're almost more than one thing greater than that. It's just stupid. Everything they do with Comey finding.
Well, it worked. No, I mean, it worked. I mean, everybody for 4 years was saying he was a Russian asset. He got impeached a couple times. They had the Mueller investigation about it. What they did stuck for a while.
Yeah, but you got to think they had many, many years entrenched in our country to do this. President Trump just got in there. He's getting some time. Now it's coming to a head. So they had a head start on us from way back.
Mm-hmm. All right, appreciate the call from Winter Garden. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Cindy. I'm calling from New Mexico.
Hey, Cindy, what's up?
Hey, wanted to bring up a subject that you alluded to was the birth certificate. I'm a graphic designer, and I downloaded the birth certificate that they had online. And it is indeed a layered PDF.
Well, yeah, that was said right over the day that he released it. People were saying that.
Yeah, and that's true. So it's definitely a forgery.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring.
Well, you know, the thing about Obama and the birth. The reason I brought up the birth certificate, and by the way, the questioning of the birth certificate was. By the way, thanks for the call. Was started by Hillary Clinton's campaign in the 2008 primary season when she was running against Senator Obama for the Democrat nomination, okay? But President Trump, if you remember, he was with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and they were investigating the Obama birth certificate, and Obama, after years of ignoring it, produced that because of Trump. And I really do believe that he did what he did with this coup because he was so angry at him over that birth certificate. I think that's what started the hate, and then he won. Remember, there's that quote saying he'll never be president. I'm president. One of us will be, we'll never be. Remember that? And it just, a small incident like that with an egomaniac narcissist like Obama has a snowballing effect. It gets worse and worse over time. And then when he won, he just lost it. But the birth certificate, that's what I think was the original anger that Obama had that led to him having a freak out when Trump won against Mrs. Clinton. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. How are you? It's Tom from Florida. I haven't heard from you in a while.
You never hear from me. You call me. I don't call you. I hear from you. You don't hear from me. I hear from you.
Oh, there we go. Twisting the words. I was just saying good morning. How are you?
No, you said I haven't heard from you in a while. You've never heard from me.
I'm saying I haven't heard from you in a while.
No, you never hear from me because I don't call you. You call me. If I call you, I hear from you.
I hear from you when I turn on the radio. That's when I hear from you. I haven't turned on the radio in a while. Geez, Brian, you really got to stop with this word salad stuff.
Well,
you like to, just muffle up. Okay.
How about become articulate?
Okay, here we go. First off, when Trump debated Hillary, he brought 4 accusers of Bill Clinton's.
Correct. No, there were 3.
TV.
There were 3 accusers, and one woman who was raped as a child, and one person who was raped as a child by 2 adult men, and Hillary Clinton.
By Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton represented the kitty rapist, and called her a little Lolita who was asking for it.
Well, also, too, somebody had to defend the Central Park 5. If it was up to Trump, he'd have him.
But you're not. She didn't have to. But you don't have to take a case.
Yeah.
She went out of her way to take
that case. We don't have to
case.
take out big news spreads about people who you don't know nothing about either. Same thing with Obama. You know what I mean? He was, he came out. Oh, show me the birth certificate. The guy's in America. Give it a rest, okay? So, second off, this whole thing with the Hillary Clinton and the Jeffrey Epstein files. He released more.
No, we're not talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, yeah, of course you wouldn't. So with all that put together, okay.
With what? What have you put together? Incoherent ramblings.
I'm saying well, actually, you know what stinks, Brian? You got your new holding system where you used to be able to hold the call and hear what was going on. Now you're just like you're brought right into the dark. You don't even know what the conversation is when you're on hold. So
No.
you got that weird.
That wouldn't help you. You're probably not knowing the conversation probably helps you a little bit.
Whoever thought that music is patriotic and sounds good, I mean, it was probably you that gave the final notice. You should check that.
Whoever thought that you sounded good and added to a program. I haven't talked to you in a long time, and you know what? How long's it been since we talked?
I don't know, nor do I care.
Well, however long it's been, I haven't thought about you once since the last time you called in. All right, take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Dave in Virginia.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I didn't know if you watched Caroline Leavitt's news conference last night, but she had a grin on her face during the whole conference because not one mainstream media reporter asked her about Russiagate.
What do you mean, the coup?
Not
the
one.
Obama coup?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not one.
No. Well,
Yep.
that's because I wasn't there. They should have had me in that press briefing.
Yes.
Wearing my Trump 2028 hat. They could call on me.
Yeah, they should have. Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up to you.
All right, appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
There's one more thing that the liberal, I like to call them the demon rats, like to use besides Epstein. Yesterday, I went to talk to somebody who's a big Obama supporter, and the first thing he says, he beat me. He says, "Are you concerned that President Trump is going to have to leave office because he's sick?" I said, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, his legs are all blowing up." I said, "You got to be kidding me. This is what you're worried about?"
That's what happens. That's what happens when you watch MSNBC.
Yeah, I said, first of all, I don't know if that's accurate or not, if he has any problem with his leg, but I think he's very healthy. And I said, certainly one thing I know, he's not senile, so he's not like Joe Biden, so he's not leaving office.
That's correct.
Aren't you concerned? Aren't you more concerned that you're a big Obama support that he might go to jail for treason? He says to me, "Well, you always say, that's fake news." I said, "Tulsi Gabbard bring it out. She's a Democrat. Don't you think she's credible?" "Oh, no, you're going to trust her? This is all ridiculous. You'll see. Nothing's going to come out of it."
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are all running for cover. They're all trying to close their ears. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's okay. That's okay. We want to hear it, and it's going to get out there, and justice is coming. I appreciate the call now. I want to tell you guys about the free doorbell camera offer from Slomin's. You can get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin's Shield. Slomin's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you a LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Slomin's Shield. Give them a call no matter where you're located. Toll free, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back.
I'll start.
If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in just over a minute. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Nathan Harlan.
Hey, Renee.
You need new music, man. Your music is terrible.
Well, you don't listen to me for the music.
You have to pay me. I'm not giving you nothing.
Yeah.
You have to pay me. I got a song just for you, too. It's called Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, because that's what you are. Scared.
Scared? Scared? What am I scared of?
You're scared of black people. Scared.
You know,
Obama scared you to
why
death.
black people? Obama, like my daughter, is biracial. You know, all of my grandchildren are going to be grandchildren of color. If I was afraid of black, all of my grandchildren will be black.
Oh my God! No, they won't.
Yeah, my daughter is black.
Yeah, and the father is not.
There's no father yet.
What the father is. You're really stupid.
Yeah, by your standards, yeah. So you can't talk about the facts of the case. We got this coup. We have the first. Hold on a second. We have the first timeline of the Obama coup against the president, and you're worried about my grandchildren, and you think I have a phobia? I mean, it's bizarre. Weak.
You make absolutely no sense at all.
And you think you're making sense? You say I'm afraid of black people, but my only child's black. That doesn't even make sense.
Oh, I make a lot of sense. You're just a dumb idiot. That's the difference.
If I was afraid of black people, would I not have adopted a white child? That doesn't make sense, what you said.
First of all, you are taking advantage of that girl. You're exploiting the fact that she's not white.
No, you brought it. You said something stupid, and I'm pointing something out that shows how ridiculous your statement is.
You hate her family.
Have you ever been like in a mental facility? Have you ever been under a mental psych evaluation? I mean, you don't sound well.
You sound like an idiot. No, I'm in America.
We have mental health facilities in America. They're all.
America is a mental health facility.
Every single Democrat I've talked to today has been deranged. I mean, you are not sounding yourself.
All right, like you. Who are you to tell anybody anything? You're an idiot.
Well, you call me to interact and listen to me, and are you are interested in my opinions.
Tall, dark, and handsome is the phrase, you know. Where do you think that came from? They weren't talking about you.
Boy,
dark and handsome.
This is just a fascinating call we're having. You are totally unglued. You understand that, right? I mean, you sound insane.
No. You just sound really, really stupid. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We haven't had a single coherent liberal in days call in on the program. Am I the only one? Did he sound nuts? Sounded completely nuts. You're on the air. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, man. That guy needs to stop calling.
You're calling
honestly,
back?
I am an
You're calling back?
He sounds...
Why are you? It's one call per day, man. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Stephen Colbert, who did something so stupid last night. So he gets a year's notice that he's being canceled. That sucks. I mean, I get that. And he was canceled because his low ratings have resulted in the show losing $40 million a year. So he goes out last night and does what he calls an opening monologue and sends a message to President Trump. He used the F word. He told, what did he tell President Trump? Let me get the, I can't say the exact words. Let me see. What did he say? He said, he went out on stage during his opening monologue, Stephen Colbert, and had a message for President Trump. He said, "Go F yourself." He said, "Go F yourself," he said. On CBS from the Ed Sullivan Theater. Ed Sullivan never said that on camera there, did he? What a stupid person. In Stephen Colbert's situation, where he's paid $20 million a year, what a smart person would do in a situation like that is show them that he is great. He would be at his best. And, if he could go out there and say, you know what? I'm going to get the ratings up. I'm going to go out there and show everyone what a talent I am and our staff are. We're going to put on the best show since Johnny Carson was on the air. Our ratings are going to go through the roof. And while they're not renewing the contract, we'll be able to parlay that into another gig somewhere else. But then he goes out there and starts saying, "Go F yourself" to the President of the United States. Of course, the crowd went nuts. That's why he's going off the air. Because he's not funny, he's an angry liberal, and he has no talent. It's insane what he did. I would have done the exact opposite. Now, I want to tell you guys about the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. It is hot. The heat index is like 100 degrees this week. Have you noticed that here in South Florida? The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which you can get for 30% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. The cover, which is 100% machine washable and dryable. It's made with that same material as the MyPillow 2.0 with that temperature regulating technology. During these hot summer months, and I've been sleeping on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for years. During these hot summer months, the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper keeps you cool and comfortable all night long. And during the cold winter months, it keeps you warm and toasty. Plus, it turns your whole bed into a MyPillow. It comes in every mattress size from twin all the way up to split king, California king, and every size in between. I have a queen size bed. It also comes in the RV sizes and the sizes for those semi-truck drivers for your bed in your cabin on your truck. It's great. It will change your life. If you think you need a new mattress, get yourself a 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Mattresses are expensive. The mattress topper is not, and you can get it for 30% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. 4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Call us on hold, stand by. Hopefully we can raise the bar of the quality of our liberals for the second half of the program. We'll be right back. Whew. These callers are losing it. They are losing it. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, guys. Oh, boy. If you're on hold, hang in there. Have you noticed? I mean, the liberals have all been nuts today. Every single one of them. We haven't had a sane Democrat all morning. Yesterday either. But it's getting worse. It's getting worse. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. That's right. All right. Less than a minute. We'll be back. $30 seconds. Less, actually. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. And we're talking about the Obama-led coup against our great president, Donald Trump. And the media really broke out with this yesterday. There was a ton of media coverage. A lot of new things came out, including the timeline. But Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, did an interview with CBN News yesterday, and he talked about it. Listen, this is Mike Johnson yesterday on the Obama coup.
What Tulsi Gabbard has done, the DNI chief, in essence, declassifying hundreds of documents that seem to suggest that manufactured intelligence was at play here with the Obama administration regarding this Russian collusion hoax. I've heard Stephen Miller call it a seditious conspiracy. I've heard Tulsi Gabbard call it a treasonous conspiracy. You're a constitutional guy. What do you see in this exactly? How do you term it?
Well, I don't know how to summarize it by way of description in a snappy phrase, but I will tell you it is deeply problematic. And I was, before I became Speaker of the House, I served on the House Judiciary Committee, which had jurisdiction over a lot of this. And we knew what was happening. We knew intuitively, and we were gathering the evidence as we were investigating all of this ourselves. We knew the Russia collusion thing was a hoax. They used it as a basis to attack the president mercilessly. I served on his impeachment defense teams twice. That would be unheard of in history, that a president would be impeached twice on such spurless claims. But in those processes, as we were preparing for those defenses, as we were investigating with our oversight responsibility in judiciary, we recognized that the people who are being called out now were involved in a scheme. We knew that it was a shameless, false set of accusations, and yet they perpetuated the lie on the American people, and they looked right into the camera and just lied clearly.
Yep, that's
and they
right.
knew what they were up to the whole time. So there must be accountability for that, because
You know, and I'll play more. If you're on hold, stand by. This is amazing. See, Tulsi Gabbard has declassified these documents. So a lot of people like Mike Johnson and others haven't been speaking about it because the things are classified. Now, since Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, declassified these things, they can talk to them. Again, this is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, with CBN News yesterday.
What it does ultimately, the greatest threat of all this is not just what they've done to President Trump as an individual, it's what they're doing to the institutions, even broader than that. They have diminished the people's faith in our system of justice itself, in the institution of the Department of Justice, in the institution of the FBI. And those are critical functions that are played in a constitutional republic. And so we're in the process of restoring trust and rebuilding the people's belief in our system of justice itself. And it's an extraordinary challenge. It was brought about because people were involved in a sinister plot. And so there must be accountability.
You say there must be accountability.
This
the
is
DOJ
awesome,
will
isn't
work
it?
on the criminal aspect of this. What's the role of the House here specifically? I mean, people want to see subpoenas. They want to see depositions. They want to see whether it be Brennan, Clapper, potentially the president, the former president of the United States. Are you willing to go down that route? Because a lot of people want to see some of these folks questioned under oath.
Of course. Look, I think we have a responsibility to follow the truth where it leads, and to do it in an unbiased fashion, to do effectively the opposite of what that other team did. They're engaged in a partisan political plot to take down their foe and the other party. We need to be about the rule of law and bringing order to the chaos and searching out the truth, because the American people are owed those answers. So
That's right.
we have some very bright, very capable, very strong leaders at Judiciary and Oversight, Chairman Jim Jordan, Chairman Jamie Comer, and the other committees that would be involved. And I do expect that whether there's a special counsel appointed, which some are suggesting, and or in conjunction with the House investigations, that we will get the answers, and there will be accountability to the extent that we're able to do that, referring people to the DOJ for prosecution and any other measure that is appropriate as we begin to uncover more of the facts.
Does it get tricky at all with the former president, President Obama, looking at what his role in this is and bringing him in for some sort of deposition, potential subpoena?
Well, listen, we have no concern about that. If it's uncomfortable for him, he shouldn't have been involved in overseeing this, which is what it appears to us has happened.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. This is awesome. This is awesome, isn't it? Well, if he's uncomfortable, that's too bad. He shouldn't have been. And notice he shouldn't have been involved in this. So you have the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, third in line for the presidency of the United States, saying that Obama was leading a coup against President Trump. You're on the air. Wow. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Dave in Boca Raton.
Okay. What's on your mind, Steve?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Okay, I'm happy to see all the revelations coming out from Tulsi Gabbard, everything that we knew before, but maybe finally will be exposed. The problem is I'm not celebrating until some of these people get punished and pay a price.
Well, it's happening. Hold on a second here. Slow down. There's a lot of things we did not know. There are things that we suspected. And now what has happened is the classified documents have been declassified and sent to the Justice Department, and they're being made public. So now we have hardcore evidence with the first timeline of the Obama coup against President Trump in his first term, and it's very detailed. Now, you don't want to talk about it until after people are arrested? Then, I mean, come on. This is an ongoing event.
It's great. I'm thrilled. I love it.
I can tell.
Expose it, talk about it. But none of them ever get punished. That's what
We're
I'm
in
saying.
a new world today. See, they arrested President Trump 3 times last year. 3 times. Fulton County, Miami, and New York. So this idea of presidential immunity and all that is over. We're in a new space now. Okay? Oh my goodness. See, that's what I was expecting from our old Republicans, the doomsayers. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Calling
calling from Michigan.
All right, Michigan, what's on your mind?
Say again?
What's on your mind, Michigan?
Sorry, for some reason. Hello?
Yeah, what do you want, a CB? I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what is this Obama coup? Because I'm in a different stream, so I can't hear anything that you're talking about.
Well, then
This
keep
Obama
listening.
coup.
Then keep listening to the show, and you'll hear all of it. All right, and get a better phone because the one you have sucks. Didn't it sound like he was calling me on a radio? You know, listen. I understand. In the past, nothing's happened. We're in a new place now. Okay, we are in a new place, and if you haven't noticed, President Trump, these last 4 years, I don't know how he found the time to do it, but while they were trying to assassinate him and arresting him and suing him and breaking into his house and all of that, through all of that, he was organizing everything that's going on in his second term. And if you remember, I was talking about this to you yesterday. The reason they broke into Mar-a-Lago is they thought that Trump had in his safe at Mar-a-Lago the documents that Tulsi Gabbard has just declassified about the Obama coup. They were looking for those documents. They didn't find them. He didn't have them. But they somehow thought that he did in his safe at Mar-a-Lago. That's the whole reason for the break-in. It was not about anything else other than getting the documents that Tulsi Gabbard has just declassified. Now, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I was so excited on Saturday when I was at Attorney Barry Siegel's office for his Medicaid seminar. Many of you listeners were there. And the first listener I bumped into in the parking lot said, "Brian, you look great. You've lost weight." I said, "Absolutely. Thank you very much." And other listeners told me the same thing. It is awesome. And, you know, since I lost all this weight courtesy of Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I feel better. I have more energy. I don't have those crashes throughout the day I used to have. I wasn't really expecting that. You know, I only wanted to lose 25 pounds, but I did that in 3 weeks, so I kept going. I lost over 35 pounds. I'm in what's called the maintain phase now. I haven't gained back a single ounce. I've been able to easily maintain my weight loss because with the Coastal Weight Loss Secret program, I didn't have to exercise. I didn't take any prescription medication, and I ate foods I would normally eat. So now that I'm in the maintain phase, it's not a struggle. If I had drastic lifestyle changes to lose the weight, maintaining it, well, that would have been a problem. Now, if I would have exercised, I would have lost weight faster, but I lost about a pound a day, and that's fast enough for me. Give them a call, and no matter how little or how much, maybe you want to lose 20 pounds, maybe you want to lose 220 pounds, or anywhere in between, or even more than that, give them a call. We've had listeners from all over the United States call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and people are losing weight coast to coast. The number is 561-247-6300. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll take our last break of the second hour and be right back. Okay, now those of you, I'll address the last caller. Those of you that are watching on the screen with the green behind me, okay, that's kind of like a behind-the-scenes stream. I have another stream going, and on the other stream, you can hear the audio sound bites and see the videos that I play, as well as see the articles that I show. On the stream with the green screen behind me, you can hear me and see me, and you can hear the callers fine. But the audio sound bites and everything, you got to go to the other stream for that, okay? Just so you know. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'll take the calls when we get back. Less than a minute, we'll be back, guys. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, our number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. All right, let me recap what's going on here because we are getting our first timeline of events. This is an early timeline. And now we're getting the, and I'm going to go through it right now, and then I'm going to start adding some more things in. This coup is getting bigger and bigger. And what had happened on Monday and on Friday is Tulsi Gabbard has declassified all these documents. So now people that were in the know can speak about them, and also people have access to them that didn't have access to them before. So a lot of things are coming out. Now this timeline is courtesy of Jim Jordan. So the way it worked, Donald Trump won the election. He is the president-elect of the United States and will be the 45th president of the United States because he's won the election. He beat Hillary Clinton. On December 9th is when Obama had this coup meeting in the Oval Office. And this is all according to Jim Jordan, who's on the committee that's going to be investigating this. This is December 9th. And what Tulsi Gabbard has given us with the declassified documents is all kinds of information. All of the intelligence assessments from every intel agency the United States has said there was no Russian interference and Russia did not even have the capability to do it. Every intelligence agency said that. It was in the presidential daily briefing. It was in all the intelligence reports. So on December 9th, Obama calls this meeting and he has the heads of the intelligence agency, Comey from the FBI, Brennan from the CIA, and Clapper, who has Tulsi Gabbard's job at the time, who oversees all the intelligence agencies. And what they did in that meeting was make a decision and craft a counterfeit intelligence report saying Russia had interfered. Even though every intelligence analysis said they didn't, they crafted a complete fake presidential daily briefing and national security assessment. That was on December 9th. Then on January 3rd, because President Trump had been talking about what they were doing, on January 3rd, is when Senator Schumer came out and said, if you take on the intelligence community, they got 6 ways from Sunday to get at you. And then 3 days later, on January 6th, Comey, Clapper, and Brennan went to Trump Tower. It was supposed to be President-elect Donald Trump's national security briefing from the three, but it wasn't. They brought with them the fake Russia dossier, and they attempted to blackmail President Trump and get him on board and play ball with him. He said, get out of here. So then Brennan, Clapper, and Comey, mostly Comey because he's known as a leaker, leaked all this false intelligence assessment, the one that they totally crafted and made up, on top of that with the dossier, and gave it to the media and started this dialogue. And that's when the Russia began. And that Russia is what led to the Mueller investigation, impeachments, and everything else in between. That's what we have so far. This is the first timeline that we have. Pretty serious stuff. All right, let's take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Listen, weren't you just over maybe a week and a half ago? And with regard to this, thank God things are being declassified. But weren't you predicting that Tulsi Gabbard was going to be removed from the administration?
No, it was being reported in many news sources, and it was probably because they knew this was coming out. But it had been reported in many news sources that she was on her way out, and in fact, it had to do.
And you said yes. You supported.
Well, we have new. Listen. Hindsight is 20/20, and as opposed to talk about last week, why don't you talk about what's in the news now? These are documents.
Because you know what?
These are documents, and now we know why she's been on the down low. She's been busy investigating this Obama coup against President Trump. What's your thoughts on it?
Thank God. You know what? But there's no way. By the way, your prediction too.
Thank God there's no way. And now, by the way, you've said nothing.
No, wait. Let me finish. You don't ever even let me finish.
No, you got these random streams of incoherence.
No, because you know what? You predicted
I predicted
Obama's going to be put in. Wait, let me finish. See, you don't ever let me finish the thought.
This is not about me. You keep talking about me. You're not talking about this Obama coup.
This is your show. Isn't this your show, or is it you just?
I have been on the air for 2 hours. I've been on the air for 2 hours. Every liberal I've had, every Democrat who's called, every never Trumper I've spoken to has talked about everything but this coup. And this timeline, and this evidence, and these documents.
Let me, I'm giving you my
and I'm getting fed up with
my thought on it. You won't let me. You will not let me complete a thought. Guess what? Obama is never going to be arrested. Fact. He will never. And if he were somehow to be indicted, he's going to turn himself in. You're predicting.
Should he be? Should he? I'm not predicting anything. I'm following. I am following the story. Excuse me. I am not predicting. I am not predicting anything. I am talking about the breaking news. Now, so far as the arresting of Obama, I would recommend that Kash Patel put the cuffs on.
To put him in cuffs. Do you remember saying that outlandish comment? A black
it's not outlandish.
To put him in cuffs.
It's not outlandish. It makes sense. You don't want to have an image of a white guy arresting the first black president of the United States. It would be better to have a non-white person do that.
According to the world of Brian.
According to what it would look like in the history books. And you know that. But I haven't heard you comment on the coup. You're talking about everything but the coup. Should Obama be arrested? You got to think about it.
I think everyone involved. Wait, let me finish. So you don't even let me finish like 3 words. I think everyone involved with this matter should be held accountable and should be.
What?
Probably in prison.
Okay, so you think Obama should be in prison?
If he played a role like it's described, we haven't seen these documents, by the way. Have you? I don't know if you're in the loop.
We have. We've gotten a summary of them from the many interviews that Tulsi has been doing, as well as a press release. And this timeline that I've been sharing today has come from Jim Jordan, who has had access to the documents.
Why not just show us the documents?
There's thousands of them.
Show it to us.
They are available. If you go to Tulsi Gabbard's X account on this, there's a link to view them. She put a link on her X to view them.
Have you seen them? Have you seen them?
I've read some of them, but they're written by like lawyers and stuff. It's like reading the directions to a stereo. But they're all on her X. So you're a big shot lawyer. Go to the Director of National Intelligence official X. Go to her post on this And she has a link to the documents right there. And not only that, she said that she's going to continue to put them up on her X. So you can follow them all there. All right? You're on the air since you asked. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I would recommend it.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once.
Hi, Brian. This is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra, what's on your mind? You got to turn the volume down of the device you're listening to me on in the background, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought. Okay.
That's okay. Just turn it down. That's okay. You'll be fine. You're fine. No worries. I'd rather listen to me in the background than just Greg by himself. But I don't need to. I don't need to hear Greg 2's call again in the background. Ugh.
Oh, I don't blame you. No, I've been listening to you since 6 o'clock. And all these liberals have lost their mind.
Yes.
They have no common sense. They are imploding on themselves. They refuse to see the evidence that is being poured out there, and they don't want to believe it because they know it's true. And like I said before, because I had called you before, I just can't understand why all these people hate President Trump so much that they are willing to destroy America.
Well, it depends. Are you talking about these government people or these lunatic callers that have been calling me?
The lunatic people.
No, the lunatic callers, if you notice, these are very dysfunctional men that I've been talking to for the most part, and they obviously have issues with strong men like President Trump. They're intimidated by strong male figures like Trump. Daddy issues. They have daddy issues. Obviously, most of them.
And that's why the liberals always seem to say they need to get rid of the white male because they do not want manly men.
That's correct. Hey, listen, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. All right, it's coming up on the 8 o'clock hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back right after this. 30 seconds. We'll be back, guys. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, and hour number 3 has begun. We've been covering pretty exclusively this Obama coup that's been happening, and it's a big deal. This information that Tulsi Gabbard has released, she's declassified it. So a lot of these people that are doing interviews now, members of Congress and staffers, General Flynn was on with Bowling. I'm going to play some of that in a little bit. They were in the know, but because the information was classified, they couldn't talk about it. Now they can. And the way that these are all intelligent memos and such, the way they're written, it's like, you've heard that term legalese? It's written in intelligence-ese. And you have to be an expert to understand some of it. Like you have to be a lawyer to understand legal documents. And the people that are doing these interviews are experts in these fields that are giving us summaries and analysis of these declassified documents of the Obama coup against our great President Donald Trump. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Some sanity coming to the phone this morning.
I mean, have you heard these liberal callers today? Or these liberal callers are out of their minds, just out of their minds.
Yeah, they're totally out of their minds. I'm going to tell you what the biggest thing coming down here is, as far as what I see, that it's gone directly to the justice system. It's past this Congress.
Yes.
Because if you notice, they showed their cards the other day when they try to get Biden on the auto pen, when they boycotted and not one that they try to delegitimize the hearings. They don't show up. They boycott. They got the guy.
And it looks like we're going to avoid this special counsel nonsense too, and go right to the federal. Go right to the federal court system, which is where this should be. Not a special counsel. That's a path to nowhere.
Exactly. So will they get convicted? Most of the judges, I guess, that are going to be, because I don't think we could judge shop. Most of it's going to take place in Washington.
No, that's not true. In fact, they said because Mar-a-Lago's a part of this, they could file this in Florida. And Victor Davis Hanson, who was on last night with Laura Ingraham, who's a very smart man, his analysis, and he's brilliant, Victor Davis Hanson.
I know
when he says things, you got to take it. Victor Davis Hanson says it's only a question of who turns on who. Does Obama turn on Clapper and Brennan and the rest, or do they turn on Obama? And he thinks,
Well, the biggest jury pool that we have in this country, Brian, is the American voter. I hope after all of this, because if you take a look, the Democratic Party has to be eliminated from existence. It's not liberals; it's the Democrats. Of course, the whole party is liberal. I mean, they've been behind it.
They're so desperate. They're so desperate right now. I mean, they got Rahm Emanuel and Beto out there trying to resurrect the party. But this is so detailed and so big, and we have a president and an administration that want justice to be done here, and I believe it will be. Now, I don't know if Obama is going to go to jail, but they arrested President Trump 3 times.
Well, you want to know what it reminds me of with President Trump? It reminds me of the Godfather movie when the baptism was going on, and he was and everybody was getting zapped.
Well, what a dumb analogy to me. Well, listen, this
is. Why would you say that?
Come on, think about it. But with Tulsi Gabbard,
I think it's revenge. And
it's not revenge. It could have that effect, but President Trump's trying to do a couple things here. One, when he leaves office, whenever that is, they're not going to leave him alone. If justice is not done, they're going to harass him and his family for the rest of his life. The only reason he's not in prison now is because he won. If he would not have won, Mershon would have sentenced him to prison, and he'd be in a New York penitentiary right now. Okay, and he's very well aware of that. So this is not just a revenge. This is a really survival, among other things.
Yeah, but my biggest hope, Brian, is that the Democratic Party has completely wiped out, and there's no way they can ever win another election anywhere. They're already hiring. They've already got commies everywhere. They've destroyed the cities. They got the guy in New York that if he wins, that's gone. In other words, you got to eliminate this party, and you got to start from fresh, because the Democratic Party is infested. It's corrupted.
It is. All right, hey Richie, I appreciate the call. So General Flynn dropped something huge. He was on with Eric Bolling on Real America's Voice yesterday. Did you guys catch this? Listen to this. This is General Flynn with Eric Bolling, and he dropped something pretty big.
Was Mike Pence possibly involved in this?
Now they're talking about the coup, the Russiagate coup of Obama's, is what they're talking about here.
Was Mike Pence possibly involved in this?
Yeah, and if you read, so I lay this out in my book as well.
Okay.
Mike Pence, was he a dupe? Was he unwitting? Mike Pence was used, no doubt, because there's another piece of evidence that I'm waiting to see come out. And I've asked, I basically demanded that it comes out. And we know this is a really critical piece of evidence. Sally Yates and Mary McCord, who was head of the National Security Division for the Department of Justice, Sally Yates was the acting attorney general, went over to the White House like 2 or 3 days prior to me having to be resigned and me being fired on the 13th of February, I think it was the date. So Mike Pence, Reince Priebus are in the Situation Room in the White House, and Mary McCord, Andy McCabe is the other name, and Sally Yates was the third name that came and briefed Mike Pence on a document. And Mike Pence he had Reince Priebus call me up while they were all together, and he said, "I just reviewed this document. The document shows that you talked about sanctions, something I never talked about ever. I never talked."
Okay, so you see what's going on here? Now, this is an interesting thing, because what do you guys think about Pence and what Flynn's saying here? Mike Pence, I've thought for years that the big leaker out of Trump's first term was Pence and his staff, right? Because if you remember, President Trump was very loyal to Pence, right? He had Pence in every meeting. And then all these things would leak out, And I always wondered, whose idea was it for Trump to pick Pence? I never quite understood the choice of Pence as his running mate. J.D. Vance, I understand, because he was just won a statewide election in Ohio for the Senate, and you got to win Ohio to win the presidency if you're a Republican. So I understood that, but Pence I never quite understood, and he very well may have been a part of this whole thing, and I wouldn't say unwillingly. He's a scummy guy. His own wife doesn't trust him. Pence can't be alone with a woman. Do you know when his wife won't let him be alone with a woman? What does that tell you? Yeah, that means his wife doesn't trust him for whatever reason. You can speculate on that. And if you notice, you hear here with Flynn, there's these documents have been classified. They're getting declassified so they can talk about things they couldn't talk about before. And now it's opening up the door. Well, what about these other files? These things are being declassified so early. We're getting all this information. The JFK files they declassified were useless. Those Martin Luther King files yesterday, I haven't seen anything come out of them yet. I don't know if they will or won't. I don't know. They probably didn't spend as much time destroying evidence in those files as the JFK files. But it's been so many years, so many people have been through them, who knows, what's left and what's been altered. But what's going on here, these are recent things. The records exist, and the players involved are still in circulation. So we're getting a tremendous amount of information, and everything is coming together. Now, when yesterday was a big turning point because the media had been kind of slow on the whole story. And then yesterday, the media came out and really did a lot of reporting. I've been playing some clips of it throughout the program today, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. Now, after the next break, I'll play some more clips. We'll take your calls as well. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll take a quick break and be back with more and your calls after this. William, I dialed you by mistake, William. I'll call you back in an hour. I apologize. Oh, okay, take care. I called William Youngerman instead of... I got him on speed dial. I hit the wrong button. Hey, Barry. It's Brian. Hold on. Hey there. Back in 1 minute. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian, good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, given what we do, dealing with the state planning and elder law, we do talk about issues that pertain to seniors often. And I'm going to do that today, but a different kind of senior. I'm talking about the seniors that just graduated high school and those who are getting ready to start college, or really anybody that's in that college age, because one of the issues that comes up is when you're a minor, your parents are able to make decisions for you. If there's anything that, God forbid, should come up health-wise or legally or whatever, the parents can make those decisions. But once that child turns 18, they're no longer a minor. And in order for the parents to be able to have those same rights to be able to make decisions for that child, if necessary, if due to incapacity they're not able to do so, something comes up, then they need to have what we call our college starter package, which is power of attorney and all the health care documents that are signed by your now 18, 19, 20-year-old child, so that if they are away, there is a legal right for the parents to come in and do their parently duties as parents, but in this case as power of attorney or healthcare surrogate for the child. So now is the right time for those of you who have children going away to college. If they don't already have these documents in place, then you should give us a call and we can get that taken care of for them, so you don't have to worry about this.
It's a funny thing you bring that up. I don't know how funny, but when you're a parent and your kid turns 18, there's all these moments of being a parent, and that first time you can't get information from the doctor is one of them. I've been there myself. And my wife and I, coming up on our 29th wedding anniversary this year, but my wife and I, we knew each other 6 weeks before we were married. We met, and 6 weeks later we were married. And,
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But my wife had a health scare, and right after we got married was in the hospital. And her parents were there that I barely knew, because we knew each other only 6 weeks. And there were serious medical things, and the doctors and the nurses were coming to me and bypassing the parents. And I didn't even have enough knowledge to make educated decisions because I didn't know the history. When your kids become adults, legally, you still need, as a parent, you still need to have that access when it comes to medical decisions and other decisions too. And that's something that's overlooked a lot. I wanted to mention one thing too, Barry. Yesterday we were talking that a lot of people think that they're too rich for the Medicaid planning. And another thing I noticed with your revocable living trust and such, a lot of people think they're not rich enough for such things. When people think of trust, they think of the Kennedys, right? But actually, middle-class people and lower-income people, they have less to give to probate. They need a revocable living trust even more than the super rich, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Revocable living trust planning has become very common planning for people of all situations, all financial levels.
Yeah.
There's really, one of the questions people ask me is, well, how much do I have to do a trust? And there's really not a bright line answer where we say, okay, well, if you're over this amount, you should do a trust, and if you're under, you shouldn't. It's really about what the benefits of the trust are, and if those are important to the person who's doing the planning. So,
That's
for
right.
example, if they're interested in avoiding probate, interested in avoiding guardianship, interested in protecting the inheritance that they're leaving to their loved ones, so it doesn't end up going to their future ex-spouse or vulnerable to lawsuits and creditors, then a trust would be appropriate for them. So it's really just about what their goals are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Make sure you tell them you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and then you can take advantage of their no-charge in-office consultation. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, siegellawgroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
All right. All right. Take care. All right. Call us on hold. Stand by. We're going to go to the phones. We're talking about this Obama coup against President Trump that just boatloads of information's been declassified about it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Dallas.
Oh, hey, JJ.
Hey, Brian. I gotta disagree with you on a very, very minor issue, and that would be Renee. You said that he wasn't kind of like acting himself. He sounded spot on, normal crazy to me. But
oh, really? He always sounds that crazy?
Yes, he always sounds crazy.
Well, if you listen to the liberal men that have called today, Greg too, Greg too had incomplete thoughts and he was rambling.
They spend more time trying to say to you, "You'd never let me finish a thought," if they would just stop that and give you the thought.
Yes.
Number one, their call would take half as long, and we might understand what the hell they're trying to say. But it's always the whining and complaint. When I hear that, I bow my head and I'm like, please, God.
Was that Jay from Jersey or Renee from Harlem I was talking to?
That was Renee.
That was Renee? Yeah.
It was Renee.
I'd forgotten.
Harlem. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's, the TV shakes, the cross shakes.
It's a funny thing about this business. 'Cause those of you that are longtime listeners, every 5 years or so, you get a whole bunch of new chronics, that are like the weirdos, like the Black Phantom or Black Randy and Copa Rick and the process server Doug, Angry Doug, and all these things. You remember Angry Doug? That's why the new Doug is conservative Doug, not to be confused with Angry Doug. And then Greg 2 was Greg 2 because there was this lunatic that hated me like the plague who was named Greg that used to go, so they at some point they all begin to lose their sanity.
Yeah, it's a complete failure to launch, really.
Yeah.
This Tyler kid, Tyler from I think what his name was, from California, was just. He sounded like he was first in his class and the only student. He was confused.
Oh, was he the one laughing at me?
Yeah, the one that ended at the end of it was like a laugh track. It was just, talking about Obama. And the history is the history.
Obama derangement.
Go back to where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
Obama, what does Obama do? He buys a house in D.C. just to,
Well, the reason that the presidents leave Washington is so there's not a confusion about who's in charge a lot of times too. Okay? And that's a part of it. And when Obama, when Obama bought that house on the same street as a mosque in D.C., people are like, well, what's this about? And we now know for sure that he was running a shadow government with the coup.
There's a skiff. I don't know if you've ever read that, but I've read and heard from other people that he has a skiff in that house. And he also
I've heard that. Is that true? That's hard to believe.
That's what I heard. I've read it, I've heard it, and I 100% believe it because...
By the way, a skiff is a for those that don't know, it's a secure place where you can access and read classified documents.
You can talk, yes, and you can talk amongst yourselves without being listened in on.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason to have that is for look, he was running stuff out of that house. There's been a lot of people reported from certain cars and people that have gone in and out of that house. And most presidents, I think they leave D.C. because let's relax a little bit, go back and get back to normal life. I mean, Reagan with his ranch and
a lot of them they leave for a number of reasons. One, so there's no confusion on who's in power. Two, it's too hard for them to be there and not be in the White House. Three, they go to make money, and go off. I mean, there's all reasons. When he bought the house, people were saying he's going to have a shadow government, and now we know he did.
We know he did. I mean, you can connect it. It's not like you're not connecting a dot from the East Coast to the West Coast. You're connecting a dot just a few blocks away.
Well, let me tell you, if the story of the skiff is true, okay, that means there's a record of what documents were viewed there and who was a party to it. And
I think it was more along the lines of a private skiff, Brian. It wasn't. It's a private skiff. This was nothing. In other words, it was completely outside of the government. So none of that stuff, the documents that you're thinking of, this was not a...
so you're saying there'd be no records of the documents taken?
There's no record of anything. The only record would be the people that went in and out of the house.
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
legit.
Maybe if they were idiots and left documents behind. But, it's just, like I said yesterday, this was, to me, one big, gigantic wrap-up smear, which kind of fell into sedition and then into treason. And the Democrat Party, the motto for the Democrat Party, the way these politicians think is, laws are for the little people, not we the people. Not
and you guys got to understand something. When I tell you guys there was a panic because Donald Trump was the first president not to be part of their club. Barack Obama, you guys got to. This is something about a lot of people just think he was some kid from Hawaii who made it big. Frank Marshall Davis, that weirdo mentor of his, was part of a Chicago cell. It was Frank Marshall Davis, Hillary Clinton's parents, Valerie Jarrett's parents, and Bill Ayer's parents, and they were part of this. They were part of this cell. So this idea,
the dream team of communism,
and they gave us Hillary, and they gave us Obama. That cell.
Rules and laws don't apply to them. They apply to we're cattle to be corralled, to be fed.
That's right.
To be led to the slaughter.
That's right.
Of communism.
That's right. Listen, I got to run, but you made some good points, and your observations are spot on. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to. Let me take one more call before the break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Never Trumper Steve here.
Hey, Never Trumper Steve.
Calling in to do a public service announcement to your listeners. Rather than get into the individual detail of what you talked about with the Russia interference,
I can imagine you not wanting to do that.
I'm going to direct them to Google, and they can get the truth a little bit more.
No, you're not going to give out. You're not giving out websites. No, you're not giving out websites.
You don't want them to.
No, I'm not. I do not let anyone give out links or websites or shows that I'm not familiar with. You could be sending them to the white nationalist organization for all I know. No.
Okay.
No.
So
what you're saying is this is very interesting. So what you just said was
can I get a sentence out?
When I'm done responding to your bizarreness, what you just began your conversation with me was, I can't argue against anything you brought up on the Obama coup, so I'm going to advise people to Google something. That is pretty. Aren't you embarrassed? You should be embarrassed.
No, I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah, well, you're shame. You're a man without shame.
You're going to let me talk.
Oh, please, another victim.
Let me know when I
Go ahead. I'm late for the break. Go ahead.
All right. of all people who you want us to believe, Tulsi Gabbard, I said it correctly this morning, just for you, Tulsi Gabbard, before she was even confirmed, was considered in a lot of circles to be an arm of Russia. She seems to have the point of view
Hillary
that
Clinton
Russia would have
said
a lot of
that.
things.
Hillary Clinton said that and repeated that lie often, but she's not. And we're not taking Tulsi's word. She's declassified literally thousands of documents that are being released. So this isn't her word. These are documents, most of them from the Obama administration.
Back an oldie but a goodie from 10 years ago. President Trump already threw her under the bus a month ago on how close Iran was to having a nuclear bomb. He said she's wrong and walked away. So this is her way of trying to make amends with
she's
Trump.
been working on this for months. This isn't something she just did in the last couple of weeks. All right, I appreciate the call. That was the weakest call I think I've ever gotten. Because he started, as opposed to discussing the evidence that has been revealed on the program today, I want people to Google the truth. We'll be right back. What an embarrassment. By the way, everyone in the chat, while we're on our break at the bottom of the hour, give me a yes or no in the chat. Do you think we will see arrest? I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but do you think there will be arrest out of this? Yes or no? What do you guys think in the chat? Will there be arrest? We'll do an informal poll. I think there will be. I think there's so much coming out. And General Flynn, in that interview with Bolling, he went on to say that there's thousands of other documents that Tulsi's going to release too. See, this is the mistake they're making with their talking point. Their talking point is, well, she was wrong about this thing. This is not her opinion. She's releasing the documents. Right? So it's not her opinion or thoughts or even analysis. She's releasing all the documents for everyone to examine. And look at all those yeses. And that is so unusual for Republicans to be so confident that there will be arrest of Democrats. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's an energy about this. And so much, now that these people that were in the know that couldn't speak because of everything was classified are speaking and giving analysis of the documents. That's how we're getting this timeline and all of this other information. Yeah, I mean, look at all those yeses. I mean, the chat is filled with yeses. If you're new to the program, my name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe if you're new, all right? We'll be back in less than 1 minute. Okay, 20 seconds. Welcome to everyone who's new. You'll love this community, I promise. Welcome back, everyone. Call us on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. And The Democrats just aren't doing too well on the phones today. I'm telling you, USAID is shut down. That's where the talking points were generated. They got no talking points. And they're just rambling. They're freestyling is what they're doing. And you know what? Liberals are mindless. They're not very good at the freestyling. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is John. I just wanted to tell you I love your show, and I'm a big supporter of you.
Well,
hey, listen.
Yeah, hold on one second here. I'll wait for you to get to the punchline. Okay, you're a big fan. Go ahead. Yeah, what else do you got?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I wanted to say is I have a big take on this, on the whole treason thing. I think they're not moving fast enough.
Okay, all right. Yeah. What? I'll got thousands of documents in 2 days. You can save your punchline for your buddy next to you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. How are you, too?
Oh, man, I'm great.
Great show today, Ryan. A definite yes. Yeah, I think we're going to see many, many arrests, and I think a lot of surprises, too. This is a well-coordinated strike against the Democratic Party about what's been going on, and we've had to live with this frustration for, 10 years? To see this actually taking place now in real time is fantastic. Mm-hmm. You know, when you see how paranoid Obama is about General Flynn, it tells me General Flynn is a very stand-up guy. And I think Obama really, you can almost see it on his face. He's very worried, and I think he sees the end coming.
Well, you know, I'll tell you the thing about General Flynn. Okay, everybody likes General Flynn, but this is an interesting thing that's come up because this new thing where Flynn that I played is talking to Eric Bolling that Pence was involved. When I remember when President Trump fired Flynn. He fired him because he said Flynn lied to Pence. And it looks to me, now that we're getting everything in context, it looks like Pence got Flynn fired at the under the order of Obama at this point with the coup. Yeah. I'm telling you, I know that sounds crazy, but I really do think Pence was in this from the beginning because that was early on, and that was I think he was given an order made very well by Obama. It's very likely.
Was this guy the mole that was releasing all this information and going behind the
I've thought for years that Pence was the leak because he was in every meeting with the president.
I think this is going to prove because who else had access to all that information?
And remember, Obama told when President-elect Trump met with President Obama, Trump's talked about this. Yeah. Trump said, Obama told me hire whoever you want except General Flynn.
Yes.
And he walked out of the room and hired him.
Yes. And now it's going to be the revenge of General Flynn, too. That told you a lot right there. That's the only guy that Obama had a problem with. That tells me this guy is fantastic.
Exactly. That's a great endorsement. Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're watching, I think, the final stages of, I don't know how low the collapse is going to be in the Democratic Party, but I do think a lot of people are going to get some prison time out of this, and we're going to be surprised how far this extends.
And I'll tell you another thing, too, Brian. You know, Barack Obama getting arrested isn't just it's justice, but it's also a great advancement in the civil rights movement. When the first black president gets arrested, and we're not hearing the race card and everything, that we're in a post-racial society where that stuff isn't really a factor anymore, the race card.
Well, you know, it looks like we're finally coming full circle. Mm-hmm. We're coming full circle now. He's held for what his actions were as president and what laws were broken in that, and that nobody is above the law, nobody's above the Constitution, including Barack Obama. And you're absolutely right about who was backing him on the initial move. Wasn't it Brzezinski that recruited this guy at Harvard University, and then it went on to the Chicago bunch and all that?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah. This is great. This is great watching, and it's a great subject for the radio show. Mm-hmm. This is going to be extensive. It's going to last quite a while, and I want to see all this information going to come pouring out now. And now the public want this. They want this. They've been hearing about this.
And I got to tell you, the document. It's interesting with Tulsi Gabbard. If you follow her on X, she's putting all the documents on her X. You know, like that Talabi did with all the Twitter files. She's doing it like that. Yeah. And she said she's going to continue to do that. Now, when you're a layman like me and you read those documents, they don't make any sense. It's like reading the disclaimer at the bottom of the refrigerator you just bought. I mean, you don't understand. You got to be a lawyer to read it. You've got to be an intelligence expert to understand the documents, but that's okay because we're getting all these intelligence experts on TV that are reading them and analyzing them and giving us expert analysis.
Absolutely. And it's a pleasure to watch it. And this will be extensive. And, prison time, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
All right, take care, Brian. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rich in Coral Springs.
All right, Coral Springs. Speak up, man.
Okay. Yeah, never Trumper Steve. He started off that he's going to provide a service announcement, and he's never provided one. His calls stink. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. His calls do stink. His call today definitely stunk. I can't let people give out websites and things that I'm not familiar with. Now, the Democrat Party is getting very desperate now. Rahm Emanuel, who was Obama's first chief of staff, he's the guy who said, never let a good crisis go to waste. And he went on to be the mayor of Chicago and oversaw the slaughter, I don't know of how many African Americans to gun violence. But Rahm Emanuel is trying to resurrect the Democrat Party. Did you see him on Megyn Kelly? Listen to this. This is Rahm Emanuel yesterday in studio with Megyn Kelly on her program.
Do you believe boys should be able to play in girls' sports?
No. Oh. So now all of a sudden the Democrats are against the trans athletes now.
Do you believe boys should be able to play in girls' sports?
No.
Do you believe that...
Is this the round robin?
Yeah, we'll do a quick rapid fire. And then we can move past this.
Okay.
Do you believe that kids under the age of 18 should be able to be put on puberty blockers and then cross-sex hormones?
I think parents have to make that decision themselves. I think that is a child is too young at 18
oh my goodness.
to make that decision. It has to
Do you
be
believe
made
this?
with a
Walking
family
everything back.
And that choice. I think before somebody makes a life decision, they have to think twice about that.
So you disagree then with the Tim Walz policy in Minnesota, where a child who doesn't get affirmed by his parents can go into Minnesota and get jurisdiction there and get the parental decision overruled?
Yeah, look, I think these are life decisions, and I'm also slightly both. I have two minds, not two minds, but two strains that influence an opinion. One, there's a life decision, and a child can't make that decision. You have to have some moral development and character and judgment and foundation for that. Two,
total 180.
Parents have to be involved in that, and I think that...
When have you ever heard a Democrat advocate for parental consent for anything? I've never heard this before.
It's for them to make. I don't think the public should be in that space.
What if,
Okay, so, this is, it's not going to work, okay? It's too late, Democrats. You blew it. Nobody who believes Rahm Emanuel there. Good luck, Rahm Emanuel, with that. Before we go back to the phones, I want to ask you this. Are you or someone you know suffering from neuropathy? Let me tell you, Steve had every neuropathy symptom under the sun. He was bedridden and homebound. He was in pain. And his doctor said there's no treatment. He begged his primary care physician to send him to a neurologist. He eventually did. Steve went to a neurologist, a specialist, who said there's no treatment for neuropathy. We found Lighthouse Medical, and it was really out of desperation. We had an appearance coming up. We had one of our cruises coming up. This was like 3 cruises ago. And Steve's like, I don't know how I'm going to go to this appearance. I don't know how I'm going to go. I can't get out of my house. He went over to Lighthouse Medical for their neuropathy treatment. After the first treatment, he was getting relief. Now his symptoms are gone. He doesn't have any of those neuropathy symptoms anymore. And it's been 3 years and they have not returned. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works. And Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that lasts. We're 3 years out here with Steve and his symptoms have not come back. Is that not amazing? Give them a call. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. Then you get to take advantage of the no-charge consultation. Also, they can help you no matter where you're located in America. Even if you're local and you can't make it into the office, give them a call. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. You just made it.
This is Maria in Florida.
Hey, Maria. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
I love your show. I was just listening to it. I woke up late this morning and listened to it.
Oh.
But
you were
I
late.
listened to some of the crazy people that call your radio station, and it's crazy.
Well, they're liberals. What do you expect?
Yeah, because they literally freaking out that Barack Obama being named and what happened, with the Russiagate and all that. Yeah, he was behind it from day one, and I knew that, but we never had the evidence. So I'm happy that the evidence is getting out there.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of folks is still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I said, what is wrong with you people?
Mm-hmm.
You're still on this story. It's like you have no life.
Well, I got to tell you, my favorite call of the day was Never Trump or Steve. Well, as opposed to discussing all this evidence, I'm just going to tell people listening to Google. Google, you'll find the answers there. I've never had such a cowardly, weak call. Never. That was the weakest call I've ever gotten from someone.
Exactly.
I was embarrassed for him.
Talk about Google. He want people to go on Google because he don't want to hear the truth. It's all the liberals are doing that.
Followed by Greg too, that says followed by Greg too. Why won't they release the documents when Tulsi Gabbard has them all released and has a link to them on her X? It's. I know it's funny. It's funny. It's like being a kid on Saturday morning with the cartoons. They're clowns. They're like a bunch of clowns. These liberals.
Yeah, they are. I never thought it would be that bad, but they really smelling the Democrat Party bad.
Mm-hmm. All right,
they love
Maria.
Democrat Party.
It's good to hear from you, and it's good to hear.
Care.
It's good to hear that because last time we talked, your health was a little down, and you seem to be great.
Yeah, I've been going to. Matter of fact, let me explain this to you before.
No,
Give me 1 minute.
I don't have time to explain because I'm late for the break. But
okay, well, Lighthouse Point.
Lighthouse Medical. Oh, Lighthouse Medical. I got time for that. Lighthouse Medical. I got time for Lighthouse Medical. You got to call me another day and we'll talk about it. They do great work.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, Maria, I'm glad that Lighthouse. I was just talking about Lighthouse Medical before your call.
Yep. I went there. Yep.
Well, next time you call, we'll talk more about it, and you'll be in the new commercial.
Okay, then.
All right. Take care. This is the only radio show where our listeners do the spots. Okay, we'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. All right, and we are back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. How the metals looking on this Tuesday, William Youngerman?
This Tuesday, the metals continue to rally after yesterday's big gains of $47.80 on gold, closing out the day at $3,395.70 after trading in a range of $33.42 all the way up to $34.02. Silver closed out the day up 75 cents at $38.86 the ounce and did get up to $39.13. Platinum was up $18, closing out the day at $14.39. And palladium gained $23, closing out the day at $1,260. The rally continues this morning. Gold trading in a range of $33.82 on the low, all the way up to $34.03. And right now we're at $34.04. That's up $8.30. Silver, $39, up 14 cents. Platinum up $4 at $1,443, and palladium up $4 at $1,264. So gold continues to push back up into the 3,400 range. We'll see if it can break out to the upside and take out those old highs of around $3,500 an ounce. We're not too far away, and that looks like where we're heading. Within the next few days.
This is awesome. This is awesome. You know, with the gold at these price, this is awesome. Are you finding you're getting a lot of first-time people into the metals more than normal these days?
Yeah, we are finding new buyers coming into the market. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. You know, I don't know when you talk about gold and silver, what is it? Is it a savings? Is it an investment? What do you consider gold and silver?
I consider it a store of value in the only real money that there has been for 5,000 years.
That's right.
You can't. It's not just an investment. It's a real store of value in which you retain your buying power of your money, and all these fiat currencies are just they're just pieces of paper that are just going down in value.
And
so
you know,
you've got to have some way to protect yourself. It's the best financial insurance policy you can have.
That's correct. And I've never heard of a Spanish galleon being located filled with Bitcoin. Right? You know? I love it. But just I'll just tell you, when we first met you was right after a big hurricane. I think it was Wilma. And this is a fascinating thing because people talk about, because you say all the time, it's the only form of real money. Electricity was out for a couple of weeks in South Florida, but you were still open. You couldn't get to the bank and do your banking, but you were open, and there were people lined up doing transactions with the metals. It was really kind of cool, because it really is. It is money. All right, listen. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can call him toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care. Now, before we go back to the phones, I got to tell you guys, it's in this line of work, you don't get compliments too much from people. It's not that people don't like you or something, but people like to insult. And when I was at Attorney Barry Siegel's workshop on Saturday, it was my first appearance that I had done since Inauguration Day, since I lost all this weight. And to be complimented on my appearance and my weight loss, it was so nice to hear. There was even one guy who was really rude to me. I mean, he was really rude. He had rude things to say about me. He had rude things to say about Steve. But he complimented me on my weight loss. It was hilarious. It was kind of a funny thing. He had complaints about everything. It was like, this is your life and this is what I hate about it. Oh, I'm done with your life, Brian. Let me tell you what I don't like about Steve and his life. And then he told me, you look great. You have lost weight. Exactly. And it was nice to hear that from you guys, okay? And it's true, and you see it, and it's great. In fact, my pants, I wore a post weight loss pair of pants today, and they're very loose. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. It works, and I wasn't starving all day. It was really with very little effort, and I wasn't taking prescription medications. Give them a call. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. And also, no matter where you're located, they can help you in the United States. We've had listeners call from all over the United States that are losing weight and have lost weight. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossSecret.com. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The Senate Subcommittee.
Speak up. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
This is Jack. The Senate Intelligence Committee, run by Republicans, confirms that Russia interfered with the election, not Obama. You are lying to your listeners.
Not lying.
You know it.
I'm not lying. And you can say that all day or night. See, this is what you don't understand. Okay, let me explain to you, because I know you want to. No. You're just. Hold on. Slow down a sec. Slow down a second. I'm glad you brought this. I am glad you brought this. Excuse me.
You know I'm right.
I'm trying to compliment you and thank you. I'm thanking you for bringing this up, because you're giving me an opportunity to share some information that people should hear. Now, your phone connection's pretty poor, but you said the Senate Intelligence Committee said there was Russian interference in Trump's first election. This is what you're missing, okay? But I understand you're liberally impaired, which very well could be a mental disability.
Is that supposed to be a dog, Brian?
Is that supposed to be a what?
You can look it up in the.
Well, just listen. I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, this is what happened. Are you listening? I'm going to explain to you why they did that and how that came to be. Okay, so here's what Tulsi Gabbard uncovered with her declassification, and this was detailed on Sean Hannity last night. Every intelligence analysis said of Obama's intelligence agency, all of them concluded there was no Russian interference and that Russia didn't have the capability to do it. On December 9th, Obama had Obama had a meeting. Obama called a meeting in the Oval Office with Clapper, Brennan, Comey, and others, and they created a fake intelligence analysis that said they did. So this committee you're talking about, they based their findings on the fictitious, false, counterfeit intelligence information that Obama and his team crafted after Trump was president-elect. Don't you get it?
She was talking about the election machine.
No. All right. You just, boom. He just can't compute. When Elon Musk and Doge shut down USAID, I suspected this might happen. They don't have anybody writing talking points anymore. And that's why these callers on the left are so incoherent and weak. They don't have talking points. Whoever is doing the talking points is doing it for free. So, you know, the New York Post historically, I don't know if this is true today, but historically, the highest paid writers at the New York Post have been the headline writers for the front page. And they're famous for that. In fact, one year for Christmas, years ago, I gave Steve a Christmas gift, and it was a book that was all front page headlines for the New York Post. They're hilarious. My favorite one is when the Taliban was retreating in Afghanistan from the army. They had them in a truck leaving Kabul, and it said "ban on the run." Okay, that was pretty funny. There's many others. You know, topless body. What was it? What was it found? Headless body found in a topless bar. That was another one. That was so good they made a movie about it. Headless body found in a topless bar. They're very famous for their headlines. And who has ever been paid to write the headline or the talking points for the Democrats, they're not getting paid anymore. So they got some low-level person who's doing it for free. And it's amateur hour with these talking points. I mean, and Greg too. I forgot that guy's name from Sarasota. They got nothing, and they're getting weak. But I'll tell you this: this is exciting. Enjoy this. Enjoy this. You know, we're never going to have a president like President Trump again. This is without question the golden age of America. We are living through it, and you want to savor each moment and hope that the days pass by slowly. We only have this term and one more left. Okay, after 2032, we'll probably have somebody else. But we've got this, and then we got 28 to 32, and then that's it. But whoever's writing these talking points is definitely an amateur. All right, let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes. Hi. Todd from Boynton Beach.
You sure?
One question. Do you think these radical liberals that are calling you, are they paid to make these calls? They can't be this stupid.
Who would be paying them? Who would be paying them? We don't have a budget for that.
Yeah.
Who would be paying them?
No, I'm not saying like USAID used to pay them, but who is paying them?
Really?
Now?
No. Who would? Have you heard these calls? Who would pay these people to call?
That's what I'm saying.
These are weak. These are the weakest liberal arguments I've ever gotten. I'm embarrassed I am embarrassed for these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you.
Yeah, okay. No, that's not to say that there aren't the occasional seminar callers, but the seminar callers, they're cut off too. Now, I played this clip earlier in the show. I want to play it here at the end. It's a quick one. This is a Trump hater. His name's Michael Wolff, Wolfe. He wrote a Trump-hating book in Trump's first term, and here he is talking about Trump and Epstein. Listen.
Epstein believed that Donald Trump went to the Palm Beach police and said, Jeffrey Epstein has young girls at his house, thereby beginning the legal process which would ultimately bring Jeffrey Epstein down.
Wow. So Jeffrey Epstein blamed Trump for turning him in when he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. Isn't that something? Wow. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once. Twice. All right. You missed out and cowered out. We're out of time for today. The rest of you on hold, well, stand by. We'll be back tomorrow. Let me try one more. I probably shouldn't. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Am I on the line?
You're on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yep. What's on your mind? 30 seconds. All right. Another mindless lefty. Oh, my goodness. Listen, the rest of you on hold, I am out of time for today, but I'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. My name's Brian Craig. Yeah. So Epstein hated Trump, said he turned him into the cops when he found out what he was up to. Oh, my goodness. Not going to see that on CNN or MSNBC. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. And come August, it'll be 49. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America, and God bless President Trump. All right, we're clear. Let me try one more. You're on the air. What's your name?
It's JT.
Yeah, JT, what's up?
The deep state is going down. Got too many people out here praying. We got everybody praying out here for the United States of America, and the damn deep state is going down. We're going to bring back America. That's it, and amen.
All right, well, what else is there to say after that? If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. My name is Brian. Thanks for watching, and I will have a new podcast this afternoon, so make sure you click that notification bell. And on the podcast, I guess it's been about 3 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks, I reformatted the podcast. So I am doing the podcast live here on YouTube and taking live calls in the afternoon. So you can call me on the podcast as well. And then I take that and it's live here on YouTube. It's here on YouTube, but then I upload it on all the podcast platforms too. So subscribe, click the notification bell, and join me on the podcast this afternoon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.